So as we listen to that example, I thought that the use of the chromaticism is very, uh, for lack of a better word, eerie. Uh, One thing you're going to notice about Schoenberg throughout all of his writings is how haunting that it seems to listen to, and I think this is indicative of a few things. At the end of the Romantic period, we've noticed a trend to have an increased use of chromatics in composition. And I think those chromatics lend itself to be a little more eerie, but it's also going to allow them to play with emotion a lot better than they were able to before. So that tells us one thing. The other is Schoenberg's life was rather tumultuous. So there's going to be a lot of that plays out into his pieces as well. So we'll just keep that in mind as we go through this presentation. But also, Schoenberg was not always a fan of Mahler, though we will see several works of Mahler influencing him throughout his career. Schoenberg actually, for the most part, thought of Mahler as a hack, somebody that didn't deserve the fame that he was afforded, and really thought that his music was something less than to be desired. Most of the time you'll find that musicians are pretty much divas on their own stage, so Schoenberg was no exception to that. But then we see a complete change of heart as we look into late Schoenberg and see that there are a lot of influences from Mahler. It's kind of interesting. So why would that be if he doesn't like him very much? Well, in his middle years, Schoenberg was actually discovered, if you will, by Mahler and given support as he continued his career. Given support, Mahler was giving him money, a means to live, that type of thing. And actually, Mahler, at the end of his life, was a little worried about what was going to happen to Schoenberg should he pass on, because he didn't know who was going to take care of him. But Schoenberg at first did not care for Mahler's works, but after he heard Mahler's Third Symphonic work, Schoenberg was immediately brought around, and he actually considered that a masterpiece, a work of art, a work of genius. Mahler and Strauss both believed that Schoenberg had potential, wasn't just the one, but they both claimed him as a composer with great ability when they heard a performance of his work, Gehe Lieder. So as you listen to this piece, a work for 5 soloists, a chorus, and orchestra, I want you to keep some imagery in your mind. This work settles on the mysteries of love, anger, pain, passion, and death. There's a reason for that order. The very first, you're going to hear a flighty, uplifting melody at the very beginning, symbolizing that love. With that love comes the anger, then the pain. Then there's always a passion. There's that fire that comes from all of that pain and anger, and then finally death. You're going to see this in 9 different solos, and we're going to see the emotions played out through the use of the chromatics. So I want you to focus on the emotions and the poetry at work in this selection. So as you listen, please notice the different play of emotions and the sway using chromatics once again. As he moves in and out of the emotions, the accidentals are going to move the story. So go ahead and listen to the second listening example, and then we'll come back.